Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Hare
Shri Chaitanya Manavustam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhavanamanandati Savadodakana Namo Vishwapadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Madhurati Varananda Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Guravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vishwapadi Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, muchas gracias for, thank you very much for inviting us. We are, as most of you might know, we are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and our spiritual master came from India in '65. He came to America, and from there he sent disciples all over the world to spread the Krishna consciousness, open temples everywhere. In this way also we came to Chile, we came to Argentina, and the surrounding countries. And as you know, the origin of this movement is in India. And I would like to, for that purpose, I will read a verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is very, that caught my attention before I got notice that we were invited to this place. And so I will read here from this apparatus. Sorry for using this machine. No, we are supposed to live simply and think elevated, how to say high, no? This Prabhupada's principle. But I will have to read from this machine instead of a book, because I have some problem with my eyes, and on this machine I can make the letters bigger. Is that okay? Yes.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this is the text from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, from the 9th chapter, the verse is 41. Bhārata-bhūmite haila manasya janmayara janma sartaka-kari-kari para-upakāra Bhārata-bhūmite haila manasya janmachara janma sartaka-kari-kara para-upakāra. The translation is, one who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, bhārata-varsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. And we have a purport here from our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. The magnanimity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expressed in this very important verse. Although he was born in Bengal, and Bengalis therefore have a special duty towards him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is addressing not only Bengalis but all the inhabitants of India. It is in this land of India that actual human civilization can be developed. Human life is especially meant for God realization, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, Atatu Brahma Jigyasa. Anyone who takes birth in the land of India, bhārata-varsha, has the special privilege of being able to take advantage of the instruction and guidance of the Vedic civilization. he automatically receives the basic principles of spiritual life. For 99.9 of the Indian people have simple, For 99.9 of the Indian people, even simple village farmers and others who are neither educated nor sophisticated, believe in the transmigration of the soul, believe in past and future lives, believe in God, and naturally want to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead or His representative. These ideas are the natural inheritance of a person born in India. India has many holy places of pilgrimage such as Gaya, Benares, Mathura, Prayag, Vrindavan, Haridwar, Rameshwaram, Jagatpuri. And still people go there by the hundreds and thousands. Although the present leaders of India are influencing the people not to believe in God, not to believe in the next life, and not to believe in a distinction between pious and impious life, and although they are teaching them how to drink wine, eat meat, and become supposedly civilized, people are nevertheless afraid of the four activities of sinful life, namely illicit sex, meat-eating, intoxication, and gambling. And whenever there is a religious festival, they gather together by the thousands. We have actually experience of this. Whenever the Krishna consciousness movement holds a Sankirtan festival in a big city like Calcutta, Mumbai, Madras, Ahmedabad, and Hyderabad, thousands of people come to hear. Sometimes we speak in English, but even though most people do not understand English, they nevertheless come to hear us. Even when imitation incarnations of Godhead speak, people gather in the thousands. For everyone who is born in the land of India has a natural spiritual inclination and is taught the basic principles of spiritual life. They merely need to be a little more educated in the Vedic principles. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says here, Janma sataka kali kara para-upakāra. If an Indian is educated in the Vedic principles, he is able to perform the most beneficial welfare activities for the entire world. At present, for want of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness, the entire world is in darkness, having been covered by the four principles of sinful life, meat-eating, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. Therefore, there is a need for vigorous propaganda to educate people to refrain from sinful activities. This will bring peace and prosperity. The rogues, thieves, and debauchees will naturally decrease in number, and all of human society will be God-conscious. The practical effect of our spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world is that now the most degraded debauchees are becoming the most elevated saints. This is only one Indian's humble service to the world. If all Indians had taken to this path as advised by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, India would have given a unique gift to the world, and thus India would have been glorified. Now, however, India is known as a poverty-stricken country, and wherever anyone from America or another opulent country goes to India, he sees many people lying by the footpath for whom there are not even provisions for 2 meals a day. There are also institutions collecting money from all parts of the world in the name of welfare activities for poverty-stricken people, but they are spending it for their own sense gratification. Now, on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Krishna consciousness movement has been started, and people are benefiting from this movement. Therefore, it is now the duty of the leading men of India to consider the importance of this movement and train many Indians to go outside of India to preach this cult. People will accept it. There will be cooperation among the Indian people, among the other people of the world. And the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will then be fulfilled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will then be glorified all over the world. And people will naturally be happy, peaceful, and prosperous. not only in this life but also the next. For as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone who understands Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will very easily get salvation or freedom from the repetition of birth and death. Go back to home, back to Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore requests every Indian to become a preacher of his cult to save the world from disastrous confusion. This is not only the duty of Indians, but the duty of everyone. And we are very happy that America and European boys and girls are seriously cooperating with this movement. One should know definitely that the best welfare activities for all of human society is to awaken man's God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Therefore everyone should help this great movement. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 22nd chapter, verse 35, which is next quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Well, so the next verse is, as Prabhupada is indicating, Etavachanma sapanyayam dehinam mihadehishu pranayataidi yavacha shreyacharanam sata. It is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others, with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. So these are texts from the Shastra. And these texts are not limited to time and place. Actually, regularly, the Supreme Personality of God descends to the material world to help the suffering humanity, to reawaken their dormant spiritual consciousness, their Krishna consciousness within the heart. Just like Prabhupada gave a nice example. He says like a how do you say this in English? Stoke. You use when you do puja, you have this little box with matches. You know?
Oh, matches.
Yeah, matches. So within the match there's a fire already. We just have to apply the proper process so the fire becomes manifest. In the same way, within our heart, there is a very, we have a relationship, an eternal relationship as spirit souls with the Supreme Soul. There's a nice verse that says, Nityanatyanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Ego Bahnyanyam Yadati Kaman. It says that amongst unlimited living entities spread all over the creation, Ego Bahunam. There's one living entity that is different. And what's the difference? The difference is that living entity is maintaining all the other living entities. We cannot maintain ourselves independently. Actually God, through the Mother Nature, He's supplying everything that we need. Like food and everything we need. It's given by God. You cannot produce a simple mango in a laboratory or a factory. All these things are given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, is that we are His eternal parts and parcels. Just like a fire. A fire is big, and sometimes the sparks are coming out of the fire, jumping out of the fire. They have exactly the same quality as the entire fire, but they're minute. They're very, very tiny, very small. They have exactly the same qualities. They have light and heat, like the fire. But so this is our constitutional position, that we are actually very, very tiny parts and parcels of God. No, and our position is that we cannot be independent of God. We depend completely on God. No, He has given us all the facilities here. Now we are covered by the material nature, by the lower energy. No, it says in the Shastras, it says there are three energies. No, there's the higher energy, the spiritual energy, then there's the material energy, and there's a marginal energy. Just like when you go to the beach, sometimes the beach is covered with water, in another case not covered by water. In the same way, we as living entities, as spiritual sparks, are conditioned. We are either under the control of the superior energy, the spiritual energy, or the lower energy, the material energy. And right now we're covered by the lower energy. And we have, in this way, we have been given a material body, a temporary body. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna compares our bodies to clothes. So we are changing clothes. No? In the same way, we are also changing bodies. Dehino asing yata dehe komadam yovaram jara tatati hantara prakti didastata namohiti. As the embodied soul passes continuously from childhood to youth to old age, in the same way, when the body, when death comes, we go to another body. So Prabhupada used this, he quoted this verse very much because it's actually explaining the phenomena of reincarnation. Already in this body we're changing bodies. Every 7 years more or less we have a completely new body. For the replacement of the cells. The cells are created. Every 7 years we have practically a new body. But the person within the body is not changed. The soul maintains always the same, identity. For example, we can remember different stages in our life, childhood, youth, like that. In the same way, when the body becomes useless, just like we have clothes, we use the clothes for some time, and then they become quite worn out, useless, and we put on new clothes. In the same way, we also changing bodies. And it's said, the Puranas say there's 8,400,000 forms of life. And amongst all these 8,400,000 species of life, 400 species are humans. And the bigger part of the human species are uncultured, uncivilized. When the Shastras speak about civilization or cultivation, it refers to our spiritual evolution. How we are actually, developing as civilized humans. That means we have to have a clear conception about self-realization, about our own identity. We have to understand what is God, the cause of all causes, sarva-karana karanam, Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadi Govinda sarva-karana karanam. This is a verse from the Brahma Samhita. It says Ishvara Paramakrishna. Ishvara means in Sanskrit means controller. Ishvara Parama, supreme controller. This supreme controller is defined in the Vedic Shastras as Krishna or Govinda. And this supreme personality of Godhead has a form like us. It appears like us, but it's actually not covered by matter, by the material energy. So his form is Satchidananda Vigraha. That means Sat means eternal. Chit means knowledge. And Ananda refers to, joy?
Bliss. Happiness.
Happiness. Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadidadi Govinda Sarva-karana karanam. And this person, like we mentioned before, is the cause of all causes. So this is very nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures. And our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, came to the West in the 60s. And for the first time, he translated certain shastras, books like the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also he gave us Bhagavad Gita, not how I speculate or I think it is, but Srila Prabhupada presented to us Bhagavad Gita as it is received since thousands of years, through disciplic successions of spiritual masters. One has to receive this knowledge from authorized persons. What does that mean, authorized? That they are linked to, uninterrupted, how's it in English?
Yeah,
uninterrupted line, disciplic line. Shastras mentioned 4 disciplic successions. The Brahma Sampradaya. For example, Srila Prabhupada connected us with the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. There's a Shiva Sampradaya, there's a Lakshmi Sampradaya, there's a Kumara Sampradaya. One has to be connected with these Sampradayas. When Srila Prabhupada came to West, he didn't present his own philosophy, his own books like that. But he actually came as a representative, like an ambassador, representing this eternal knowledge, actually. And the result was, when Srila Prabhupada presented Bhagavad Gita and the other Vedic literatures to us, the result was very difficult, different to the presentation that had been done by science or historians or how you say,
Orientalists.
Yeah, Orientalists and all that. But rather, the books of Srila Prabhupada produce something uncommon, especially in the Western world. So in the Western world, hearing from these shastras, from these authorized presentations of the Vedic knowledge, they became deeply impressed and changed their lives, become Vaishnavas, become devotees. In India, for a long time, people were of the opinion that one had to take birth in Bharata-Varsha, in India, to become a real Vaishnava, a devotee of Krishna, devotee of God. But this is not confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. Rather, we are all eternal servants of Krishna. What is required is that we reawaken as the spiritual identity, our relationship to the Supreme Person of God. So when Srila Prabhupada presented these teachings, these eternal teachings in the West, it was surprising that Western, and Prabhupada mentions here, even very fallen persons or sinful persons experienced a change in heart, and they became devotees of Krishna. Nowadays we have temples all over the world. Like in Santiago we have a temple, in Buenos Aires, so many places, practically in all countries of the world. Well, there's some that we can work openly, but we are working under,
underground.
Say, for example, in the Muslim countries also, like that. Anyway, so this movement of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada gave this movement a very nice name, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is our original consciousness, pure consciousness. That's a very nice explanation of the Shastra. It said, Sarvapadi vinimuktam tatvane manimalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. It explains what is it, what is devotional service to the Supreme Person of Godhead, to God. And it says, devotional service means that we employ our senses in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesh. There's a holy place in northern India, Rishikesh. It's actually the name of God. He is the original proprietor of everything, including our senses, our body. Everything is actually the property of the Supreme Person of God. And it says when you apply your senses, we have 10 senses. There's 5 senses to acquire knowledge, and 5 working senses. So when we apply our senses in the service of the Supreme Personality of God, or Rishikesh, our senses become purified. No, and it says also, Sadhapupali Minu Muktam. No, we come to the platform where we become liberated from identifying with all these different designations that we have accepted on the basis of our corporal identification. No, we think we're Indians, we think we're Germans, we're Americans, whatever. No, that we are white or colored or whatever. That we are Argentines, we're Chileans or Indians, like that. All this. We have so many. I can't say so many identities on the basis of our false identification with the body. And it says, no, when your senses become purified, when you become spiritualized, you become free, from all this identification. And your real identification becomes manifest, that we are eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of God. There was a question put before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Sanatana Goswami. He came, he had a very important job in the government, and he left this occupation in order to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. This was more than 500 years ago, and in Bengal. So he came in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, I am very honored. Everywhere people respect me very much because I have been a minister in the government. And he went on and then he said, but I don't even know who am I. Can you please explain my real identity to me? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadas Krishnera Tatasta Shakti bhārata-bhūmite. Your real identity is that you are an eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupahaya, Swarupa is the form, the original form of the living entity. Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadas. Krishna Das. Krishna, the Supreme Person of God. Das means servant. And as such, you belong to the Tatasta Shakti, to the energy, the special energy like I mentioned before. There's a higher energy, the spiritual energy, the lower material energy, and there's a marginal energy. Like I mentioned this, on the beach, sometimes it's covered by water, sometimes not. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed this truth to him. And he asked many more questions. And he was very, very, pleased to hear the answers. Bona fide answers from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not an ordinary person. It says that Krishna Vanam Trisha Krishna Sangupangasta Parshanam Yagyai Sankirtana Praya Gajanti Hisamedasha. This is this is foretelling. How is it in English?
We're told.
No, it's a prediction.
Prophecy.
A prediction. Yeah, it's a prediction.
Yeah, prophecy. Prediction.
Prediction. It says in the Shastra, it says that we should not accept anyone as an incarnation of God or important, unless he's mentioned in the Shastra, foretold in the Shastras. Like Buddha was foretold in the Shastras, and so many others were foretold in the Shastras. In the same way, also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was foretold in the Shastras. It says that he would appear, and he would be a devotee of God. Appear like a devotee of God. God appeared himself as a devotee of God in order to teach how to serve and how to love God, the Supreme Person of God. And it says that he went out and chanted loudly the holy names, just like we're doing now. This is our tradition. That's where it comes from. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared like more than 500 years in Bengal. He was predicted in Shastra. And it says also that he was Krishna, but he was our Krishna. He was not dark. The meaning of Krishna is also dark in Sanskrit. And so it says he came as our Krishna, not dark, but he came in a golden form. And he initiated this movement of the chanting of the holy name all over. First, he stayed on this planet for 48 years. The 24 years, first years, he lived as a householder, married man. He was a very learned scholar, like that. And then the next 6 years, he took sannyas. He accepted the renounced order of life, sannyasi, Swami. And the last 18 years, he went to Puri, Jagannath Puri, and he became the source of inspiration for many people over there. Prabhupada mentions here the different holy places in India. How come these places are holy? Because of the appearance of great personalities in these places. Just like Vrindavan, Vrindavan in UP, Uttar Pradesh. Krishna appeared in Mathura, and Manas is intimate, confidential pastimes in Vrindavan. It says in the Shastras that the Lord in his original form as Krishna appears in one day of Brahma, once in a day of Brahma. Now we are living in the age of Kali Yuga, 432 years long, 400,000 years. 432 years. Before that age of Kali, there was the age of Dwapara. Dwapara Yuga. Then there was Treta Yuga, before that Yuga, and then Satya Yuga. This age is 432 years. Before the past age was double of that, more than 800,000 years, and then 1,002,000 Treta Yuga, and Satya Yuga 4 times what is the duration of this Kali Yuga. Anyway, and it says in every of these yugas there's appearance of a Yuga avatar. Yuga avatar. That means the Lord descends to this material platform, in order to reveal to us or give us the Dharma, the Yuga Dharma, respect for the respective age. Just like it says, Kite Jayato Vishnu, Tedayam Jitadmankai, Dwapade Padichayam, Kalau Tatidi Kirtana. It says, what was possible to achieve in the Satya Yuga, Krita Yuga, by meditating on the Vishnu form within the heart, that is refers to yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, in the following age, there's sacrifices, big sacrifices, costly sacrifices were Makai were carried out for purification, for God realization. And then in Dwapara Yuga, in the former age, worship. Big temples, deity worship, like we have also deities here, murtis on the altar. And in that age, in Dwapara Yuga, this deity worship was very extremely opulent. There was a lot of opulence like that. And in this age of Kali Yuga that we're living in now, this is since we are now in Kali Yuga, more than 5,000 years. And in this age, the process recommended is Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names. And for that purpose, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or better to say Krishna, appeared in the form of a Vaishnava, of a devotee of Krishna, in order to teach us how to practice this process. This very powerful Buddha. It says that what was achieved in these different ages is achieved in this age by the chanting of the holy name. Harinama, 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 Vakevanam, Alavana, Stevana, 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 Gatinyan. Now, when the Vedic mantras repeat things 3 times, it's emphasis. How do you say? No? How do you say this? Emphasizing. Like I instruct somebody, do this, do this, do this! No, sorry. Yes. Anyway, so this age is a very degraded age. At the beginning, like it says in the Bhagavatam, it says that in Santiago people lived up to 100,000 years, then 10,000 years, then 1,000 years, and now somebody has 100 years, considered very, very old. And it says in predictions on the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, and the age becomes shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter in this age. And when somebody is like 20 years old or something like that, he's considered a very old man. So this is all described in the Vedic literature. All these predictions are there. And for example, it says also, when at this age our life becomes shorter, like I mentioned before, and there's a lot of quarrel. That's why this age is also known as the age of, how you say, hypocrisy, hypocrisy, and how you say, conflicts. How you say, fighting.
Quarrel.
Quarrel. Okay, this is actually quarrel. A lot of quarrel. We can see. Just look at the newspapers. Before there was a war, maybe. Now there's several wars at the same time. People are becoming more and more unhappy in this age of Kali. The life becomes shorter, then there's trouble, then we misguided also. Especially it says in the Shastra, in the scriptures, it says, in this age of Kali, if one wants to advance spiritually, dedicate to spiritual life, she's surrounded by so many cheaters who take advantage of people. And Prabhupada used to say, we receive this Krishna consciousness, this process of Krishna consciousness, free. We didn't have to pay Prabhupada anything. When you go and practice yoga, the first thing that you have to do is pay. Prabhupada said, this is the mercy of God. How can we make business with this incredible mercy that we have received, free from the Supreme Personality of God? Anyway, so then it says, people are also unhappy, in this age. We can see, when we just look at the faces of people. They have so many problems. The psychological problems are increasing more and more and more. It's just like they're very proud of their advancement, especially in the more advanced countries. But at the same time, they have so incredible problems with psychological problems. Yeah. And why is this? Because we have gone astray. This human life is actually, according to the scriptures, the holy scriptures, like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, this human body is meant for self-realization. That's why we only have humans in these conferences. There's no dogs or cats and asking questions or like that. And as long as we don't take up the spiritual process, Prabhupada, our spiritual master, used to say, we're just polishing the animalistic tendencies. Eating, sleeping, sex life, and anxiety or defense. And we shouldn't waste all our energy just polishing these animalistic tendencies, but we should rather use our energy to inquire about the most important things. To solve, like Prabhupada used to say, our existential problems. And what are these existential problems? Birth, age, old age, and disease. What is that? Birth, death, old age, and disease. And there's a way to transcend these material conditions by reawakening our sleeping, sleeping Krishna consciousness within the heart. Yeah. We have all potential, but if we don't use this opportunity, of this human life, human intelligence, to inquire about the absolute truth, about God, about our relationship, about the purpose of this existence, of this creation. And all these answers are given in the Shastras. And like we read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita now, India is a very special place. Very special place. Prabhupada says here, and the purport he says, when you're born in India, immediately you're exposed to the tradition. Of course, nowadays in the big cities in India, they're more interested in copying the West, the degradation of the West. But originally, India was a holy place. They had so many important places there, for helping us in our reawakening of our spiritual potency. Yeah, and that's why so many important appearances. When India, Krishna appeared in India, Ramachandra appeared in India, Sitaram appeared, Nrsingadev appeared in India, and so many others. Buddha also appeared in India. And I read also Jesus Christ went also to India. He actually went to Jagannath Puri to study. Yes. Anyway, so India is a very special place, and Prabhupada says in the purport that we just read that people in India should take advantage of this, make their life perfect, and help others also to solve their spiritual problems all over the world, like Srila Prabhupada did. The verse said, when you're born in India, bhārata-bhūmite, you should make your life perfect. And you got all the facilities there, and especially in the form of all these scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedic literature is very extensive. Like the Mahabharata, for example, 100,000 verses the Mahabharata has. There's no epic anywhere in the world that is so extensive. Then you have the Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses. And there's more Puranas. I don't remember, but there's Puranas that have 40,000 verses and more verses. It's unlimited. The facilities, the opportunities that you get by taking birth in India is incomparable with the rest of the world. And you should all take advantage of it. You should actually get yourself together and study some of these incredible books that Srila Prabhupada brought to the West. Actually, many of these scriptures that Prabhupada gave were translated the first time into the Western language in an authorized way, like a sampradaya way, traditional way, as it was received to these uninterrupted disciplic successions. Why Prabhupada was so successful? Because he gave us this knowledge as it is. In no way Prabhupada ever said, I think, maybe, maybe not, like that. But he actually just represented what he had heard from his own spiritual master. That spiritual master had heard from his spiritual master. Tat viganatam sagurum eva vigachet savitvani sotiyam brahmanishtam. The Shastras say, one should take advantage of the human form of life and search out a guru, a spiritual master. And that spiritual master has to have certain qualities. It's not that he just dresses in saffron and shaves his head like that, or has a long beard, or puts some tilak on. Actually, he should be, it says that, first of all, the spiritual master doesn't create his own philosophy, his own way. But the most important quality of a spiritual master is that he's a servant of his guru. And he teaches us by his own example how to serve the spiritual master. A very important point. So it says, the quality of a spiritual master, he should have realized the Vedic conclusions. And he should, on the basis of his realization, he should be seen occupied in spiritual life all the time, without interruption. Not that he teaches something and then he goes to the bar, I say, or goes somewhere else. No, but actually, the Vedic system is that the spiritual master, the guru, should be acharya. Acharya means acharya. He teaching by his own example, by seeing him, by hearing from him. He's always fixed in his determination. He's in samadhi practically. He is like completely absorbed in Krishna, in serving Krishna without interruption. And this example we had in the form of Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada came to the West, he came actually in a very special moment. I don't know, you don't remember, maybe you didn't even live at that time yet, but in the 60s, Prabhupada came And there was a phenomenon at this time in the world. And Prabhupada describes it. He says that at that time, many young people were looking for deeper meaning in life. In a subculture, they were rejecting the values of their parents in search of some deeper meaning in life. And Prabhupada wrote an article about that, a very nice article, where he even mentioned the different designations of these young people all over the world. And so when Prabhupada came,